And welcome back to the another episode of Daily News Quiz Analysis for IAS Prelims 2025. It is 7th of Feb today, and in this video we are going to solve some important questions which are very much relevant for your preparation. But before we'll start our discussion, I would like to give you the brief introduction about our initiative so that if you are new to our channel, you will get more connected with us. Basically in this video, we'll try to discuss various types of questions and they would be taken from various different sources. So depending upon the sources from where we take our questions, we can, divide our discussion into three different parts. So what we are going to do in the first part, we are going to discuss the questions with respect to current affairs. What we are going to do here, we'll take up the most important news articles from the newspapers. We'll try to break them down into the simplest language possible, and we'll try to derive the possible prelims questions from those particular articles so that it will give you the idea what should be your approach when you are reading the news articles, what part of the newspaper is important for you, and how you can expect a prelims based question from that particular article. After solving questions with respect to current affairs, we will shift our approach to the another part of our discussion where we will solve questions with respect to static topics. Currently we had taken, as you know, currently we are discussing Indian polity, and in Indian polity we are discussing the office of the president, and there we are discussing the legislative powers of the president. So today we are going to discuss few legislative powers of the president and try to derive the possible prelims question which can be asked in the exam. After solving questions with respect to current affairs and the static part, we will shift our approach to the last part of our discussion where we will try to solve where we will try to solve some previous year questions. So here, to me, this is the most important part because here we are going to discuss what is the vocabulary which the UPSC uses. Here we will discuss what are the different trends which UPSC follows. Here we will discuss what can be the different methods or techniques which we can implement in the exam if we don't know the proper answer of the question, or if we don't have the proper knowledge about the question. And also here we will come to know how we can implement this knowledge which we are getting from these questions and how we can implement that knowledge in the upcoming exam. So this is what we are going to do in nutshell in this video. Now, before we start our discussion, I would like to request you guys please do subscribe the channel. When you subscribe it, it helps the channel grow and it boosts our confidence to make such videos for you guys. And also please do write in the comments what do you feel about the video. Do share it with your friends so that they may also get benefited from this initiative. Now, without any delay, let's have a look at the first question. As here on the screen, you can see the question is with respect to the Central Asian Flyway. But you can ask me a question here, sir, as there was no definite article about the Central Asian Flyway, why we had brought this question here? What is the reason for that? There was an article in the newspaper which basically talked about the Adani's project in Sri Lanka. It talked about the Adani's project in Sri Lanka as it has come under scanner. You know, post the, if you let me take you a little bit back, post economic crisis in Sri Lanka, before economic crisis in Sri Lanka was very much diving towards the China, and it was granting the projects which were meant for Indian companies to the Chinese companies. But after the post-economic crisis, when Sri Lanka fell into the economic crisis, India was the main country which helped Sri Lanka to the highest level. So after that, Sri Lanka realized the importance of India, and they started giving the projects to Indian companies. But in this, there is a concern which was raised in the Sri Lanka that Modi government in India, the government in India is only favoring the Adani groups. And also about Adani groups, there are from last year we are seeing that it has been under the scanner because of some corrupt practices and also because of the violation of some environmental concerns. So this can be the discussion. But here, as many projects are provided to them, so it has come under the scanner. But here today's discussion, it is about the wind energy project which was provided to Adani groups. Wind energy project which was provided to Adani groups. So what is the concern that there has been with respect this project that there was problem in Sri Lanka that at that time the Sri Lankan government they had the Sri Lankan government with respect to this project which was given to Indian company Adani groups. At that time it was there was there is a problem, there is a we can say the local people did not like this project, as they feel that in Sri Lanka has compromised their interests with respect to this. Sri Lanka has compromised their interests with respect to this project. So here in this project, what Adani Group are going to do, they are going to install the windmills there and generate the energy, and they will sell this energy to the Sri Lankan government. But that energy would be sold at the higher prices. So this is the concern with respect to that the Sri Lankan government, they are going to revoke this agreement. And as they are going to revoke this agreement, that revocation would majorly focus on the prices, that what prices they are going to buy it from the Adani groups, which they are, as Adani groups are going to install it, but they are not going to take over the Adani groups from the project. This is the story behind it. So why do we discuss here the Central Asian Flyway? What is the connection between the two? The connection is very much clear, as this project is going to be held in the region of the region of the Gulf of Mannar. In that region, this project is going to be held. So this particular region, as you can see here in the screen, this particular region, it is the part of the Central Asian Flyway. So it is definitely going to it is the part of the migratory species which migrate in this particular region, and installing these windmills, it is going to harm their it is going to harm these species. It can lead to the death of these species. So this is also one of the reason why this project right now is under the eyes. This project is right now, it has been highlighted. This project is scanned right now. This is one of the reason, and also the reasons associated with the Adani group, as there had been the concerns of the corruption, and also the government is favoring that particular group only. So this is the whole story why we had brought the question. The main reason, because of the Asian migratory bird flyway, as in the Gulf of Mannar this project is being implemented, so it can harm the species which are migrating in this region. So with this, I hope you had got the basic understanding about this whole discussion, about the whole context of this question. Now without any delay, let's have a look at the question and try to solve it. Here the question says, the Central Asian Flyway is a significant migration route for a variety of bird species. 100% correct. This region is the Central Asian Flyway. You can see here, I had brought the picture also. This region, Central Asian Flyway. So as the question says, it is for a variety of bird species. It is a migratory route. So here further, the question says, which of the following statements regarding this Central Asian Flyways are correct? First statement, the Central Asian Flyway covers a large continental area of Eurasia. 100% correct. You can see it here, stretching from the Arctic Ocean to the Indian Ocean. 100% correct. Second statement, the Central Asian Flyway is used by over 180 migratory bird species, including several globally threatened and near threatened species. 100% correct. And because of these species, when we install these windmills there, it can harm their strength. It can harm the species survival itself. Third statement, the CAF Central Asian Flyway region faces numerous threats, including habitat loss, unsustainable water management, and illegal hunting. 100% correct. So with respect to this question, all the three statements are correct. And by solving this question, I hope you had understood the question and also the concept why we brought this question here. It is because of the Adani groups. There was an article which talked about the corruption related to Adani groups, the Modi government favoring them, and also the concerns raised in Sri Lanka with respect to the windmill projects there. And now Sri Lanka is going to revoke those, but they are not going to take away it from the Adani groups. This is the story. And with respect to this flyway, Central Asian Flyway, because these windmills are going to be installed in the Gulf of Mannar region, so it definitely comes under the Central Asian Flyway, and it can impact these species. It may impact the survival of the species because they travel in this region. So with this, let's move to the another question and see what we had brought on the next slide. As here in this next slide, you are seeing the question is with respect to sulfur dioxide. So you may ask me a question here, sir, why we had brought this question here? What is the reason for that? The reason for that is directly in the news article today, because today's news article, it talked about how in 2015 the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, they brought up a set of emission control standards for SO2 in 2015. Environment, Forest and Climate Change Ministry, they brought up the notification. They brought up set of emission control standards for SO2, and they said that it should be implemented within 2 years till 2017. But unfortunately, as you know that it is 2025 today, this year, it is 2025, these notifications had not been implemented this year, and it has been extended now till 2027. So here the author says, what could be the reason for this much extension? What could be the reason for this much extension? And according to the author, the blame lies with the government. First, to curb the emissions of CO2, to curb the emissions of sulfur dioxide, sorry, SO2, you need a special tool in the thermal power plants. And what is that tool? It is called FGT, flue gas desulfication. FGT tool is used to reduce the sulfur dioxide. FGT tool is to be used in the thermal power plants. Now there comes the another thing. As you know, in our thermal power plants, we are very much coal dependent, and at the same time we produce our own coal. So here is a difference. We import high quality coal from different countries. This type of coal is used in few thermal power plants, and in few we have our own coal which we use there, and the domestic coal which is low in sulfur content, which is low in sulfur content. So to reduce the sulfur in the domestic coal, it would in those thermal power plants which use domestic coal would have been very much easy, but the government is not very much active in it. And according to the CEA, it has been always against implementing these tools, against implementing this protocol. And also we can blame Niti Aayog with respect to that too, why we had not implemented these notifications yet, because Niti Aayog, it has clearly said that the prime focus should be the prime focus of the country. It should be focus on air, air polluters, particulate matter. It should be the prime focus rather than going for the sulfur dioxide, as according to the Niti Aayog. And also they have the scientific backing behind that sulfur dioxide is not as dangerous as the particulate matter. So Niti Aayog believes that it should be the prime focus should be the particulate matter right now. Right now it should be the prime focus. And because of all these reasons, the difference in the coal being used in different power plants, the non-implementing attitude of CEA, and this reason given by the Niti Aayog, these notifications which were framed by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, they had not been implemented yet. And these would have been implemented by the central and state pollution control boards. So this is the whole story why we brought this question here, why this question has been asked here. Now let's solve the question. Let's understand more about the impact of the sulfur dioxide through this question. As here you can see the question says, consider the following statements regarding the health impacts of sulfur dioxide. First statement, SO2 is a major contributor to acid rain which can lead to respiratory problems and aggravate asthma. 100% correct. It is one of the SO2, sulfur dioxide, it is the major contributor to the acid rain, so it can lead to respiratory problems. Second statement, exposure to SO2 can exposure to sulfur dioxide can cause inflammation of the respiratory tract, leading to coughing, wheezing and shortness of breath. Same, 100% correct, nothing wrong with the statement. Third statement, SO2 is a primary pollutant that directly damages the ozone layer, increasing the risk of skin cancer and cataracts. Totally incorrect. It is not the primary, it does not damage the ozone layer, but what damages the ozone layer, they are chlorofluorocarbons. So this statement is totally incorrect. Fourth statement, long-term exposure to SO2 has been linked to cardiovascular disease and premature mortality. 100% correct. So with respect to this question, what are the correct statements? Statement 1, statement 2 and statement 4, which can be seen as option C as the options given below. So with this, I hope you had understood the health impacts of CO2 and why we brought this question, because there were notifications which were laid by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, but unfortunately till now, as they were laid in 2015 and it was proposed till 2020 till 2017, they should be implemented, but it is 2025 right now and we have not implemented those notifications yet. Let's see. Right now the time period has been extended till 2027. Now with this, let's move to the another slide and see what question we had brought. on the next slide. Here, as you can see on the screen, the question is with respect to the United States Agency for International Development, USAID. So why this topic is in the news? Because Donald Trump, Mr. Donald Trump, he was earlier very much against it, and he has halted. He will consider reducing the funds given to the United States Agency for International Development. So about this agency, we'll try to understand it through this question, and it can be important for our prelims exam, because under this agency, US would this under this agency, US would give funds to different countries for their development. India used to get funds in the government projects as well as NGOs, but from 2004 itself, India stopped getting funds under this program for the government projects. But for the NGOs, still India is getting funds. It is approximately 150 million which India is getting for the NGOs through this agency. So it becomes important as the US President Donald Trump is going to hold funds to this agency. So it is going to impact the economy of the global south, the countries which were very much dependent on it, and also the NGOs which were dependent on this agency. So let's solve this question and understand more about it. First statement, it says United States Agency for International Development, USAID, is a US government agency primarily responsible for administrating civil foreign aid. 100% correct. Second statement, USAID operates exclusively through governmental channels in recipient countries, avoiding engagement with non-government organizations and the private sector. Totally incorrect, because after 2024 we itself are getting the funds for the NGOs. The government had stopped it, so this statement is incorrect, because it operates with both government through government channels as well as non-government organizations and private sectors. So this statement is incorrect. Third statement, USAID's work focuses solely on humanitarian assistance during crisis, neglecting long-term development initiatives. Totally incorrect. It does not focus on humanitarian assistance, but it focuses more on the development initiatives. So this statement, the third statement, is also incorrect with respect to USAID. Fourth statement, it says USAID plays a significant role in promoting US foreign policy objectives, including fostering economic growth, democracy, and global health. 100% correct. This is also true. About USAID, you should know it was brought in 1961, as it was a time when the Cold War was on the peak. World was divided in two blocks, US and USSR, and through this scheme, through this initiative, the US tried to reach to the countries and get them sided with themselves. So this was the whole initiative for the developmental project, to develop the projects in the particular country. But there was one drawback associated with the funds which the countries would get through this initiative, that it would lay some huge, it would lay some huge things, would lay some huge conditions on the countries whom they are giving this benefit, and the countries have to follow it. And this was the major reason why India from 2004 stopped getting funds through this for the government initiatives. So with this, I hope you had understood the USAID, what it is about, and why Donald Trump is not favoring it right now, because he does not want to spend unnecessary money and spend it, and that money should go to the other countries. So with this, let's move to the another slide and see what else we had brought for today's discussion. As here the question is with respect to Article 200 of Indian Constitution. As this article, it is about the power of the governor. You know, about the governor, it is always under the news, it is always under the headlines, because for some states, governor is being misused by the center. And here is the case when the Supreme Court has, when the governor in Tamil Nadu, the Tamil Nadu government, he has withheld at least 12 bills. So with respect to that, the Tamil Nadu government went to the Supreme Court, and now Supreme Court is asking the questions to the governor about those things. Why the governor is withholding these bills? So with respect to this, we need to have the proper understanding about Article 200. It could be asked in the exam. So without any delay, let's solve it. Here the question says regarding Article 200 of the Indian Constitution, which of the following statements are correct? First statement, Article 200 deals with the governor's power to assent to a bill passed by the state legislature. 100% correct. When state legislature passes the bill, then the article 200, the governor would have to give the assent to that bill. So 100% correct. Second statement, the governor can withhold assent to a bill and reserve it for consideration of the president. 100% this is true, but the problem, the right now the controversy is with this part, withholding the assent. For how long the governor can withhold this assent? This is not well defined in the constitution. So because of this, lacuna, we can say, because of this issue, the governor is misusing, we can say, according to the different state politicians, according to different people, they say that governor is misusing his power and he's working as an agent of the center. When the bills are passed by the state legislature, what he would do, he would withhold them, or he will send it to the president, and he would delay the process of the legislation in the particular state. Because of this, as there is no particular time limit within which he has to give the assent. So this is one of the reason of the controversy. This is the major reason of the controversy. But with respect to this question, this statement is 100% correct. It is under the article 200. Third statement, if a bill is reserved for the president's consideration, the president must give assent to it. No, he can, it is not always he has to give the assent. He can give assent. He can say, he can send it back for the reconsideration, and then once the parliament will send it back, then he has to give the assent. So it is not always he is not mandatory to say assent, to say yes to the bill. Fourth statement, the governor can return a bill other than a money bill to state legislature for reconsideration with a message. 100% correct. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are statement 1, statement 2, and statement 4 only. And from the code given below, the correct code would be option B. With this, I hope you had understood article 200, why it is in news, because there are many bills which are reserved by the governor from different states, especially from the Tamil Nadu state governor, and the question has been raised by the Supreme Court. He has asked the Tamil Nadu government why he is not giving assent to the bills. With this, let's move to the another slide and see what else we had brought on the screen today. Here the question is with respect to COTSA, as it is said, countering America's adversaries through sanctions act. Under this act, what America does, if any country is not the is providing adversaries to the US, now they will put this, the US will go for the sanctions. And under these sanctions right now, what are the major countries? It is Russia, Iran, and North Korea. And there comes two types of sanctions. One are those sanctions which are put on the countries, and then comes the secondary sanctions. It will be put on the countries who try to trade with these particular countries. So with this, here comes the why we had brought this question, because of the Chabhar port. Under Chabhar port, Sri Lanka, in USA has put sanctions on the Sri Lanka, and earlier in the previous Trump government, India was given waiver that India could operate in Chabhar port. But right now, Trump government has withdrawn this waiver which was given to the India, so that so that they can avoid the secondary sanctions. Now Trump government has withdrawn this waiver from the India. With respect to this, India has not responded yet. Let's see how India will respond to it. So this is little update about the Chabhar port. Now let's try to solve the question and get more idea about the COTSA Act. As here the question says, regarding the countering America's adversaries through sanctions act, which of the following statements are correct? First statement, COTSA aims to deter countries from engaging in significant transactions with the designated entities linked to multiple adversaries of the US, including Russia, Iran, and North Korea. 100% correct. Second statement, COTSA provisions are exclusively focused on preventing the proliferation of nuclear weapons. Totally incorrect. It does not deal with nuclear weapons, but it has broader things associated with it. For example, like trade, if they don't like the country, they have the adversaries with them, they would want to curb their trades through this act. Third statement, COTSA's impact extends beyond US entities, as it allows for the imposition of secondary sanctions on non-US actors engaging in certain transactions with sanctioned entities. 100% correct. So with respect to this question, the statements which are correct is 1 and 3. And why we brought this question? Because the waiver which was given to India with respect to Chabhar port, it has been revoked by Trump government, and India has not responded to yet. As Chabahar port, it is being operated in Iran right now. So with this, let's move to the another question and see what else we had brought on the screen. Here the question is with respect to Panama Canal. As you know, the Trump, he said that they are going to take the Panama Canal from the Panama authorities, and he can use the military force for that too, according to him. Now, with respect to this, let's have a little information about the Panama Canal. Here the question says, which of the following statements regarding the Panama Canal are true? First statement: Panama Canal connects the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, significantly reducing shipping times and the cost. 100% correct. Second, the construction of the Panama Canal was primarily funded and engineered by the US. No. You may be surprised, it was actually France which started it, but it was overtaken by the US then, and US operated it, and it was given to the Panama authorities in 1999. Third statement: the Panama Canal Authority, a Panamanian government agency, has been responsible for the canal's operation and maintenance since its transfer to Panama. 100% correct. It is the Panama Canal Authority which maintains it. Fourth statement: the expansion of the Panama Canal completed in 2016 allows for the passage of larger modern container ships known as Neo-Panamax vessels. 100% correct. So with respect to this question, what are the correct statements? Statement 1, statement 3, and statement 4. And from the code given below, the correct code would be option B. So with this, we complete all the questions with respect to current affairs. I hope you had understood them. I hope there is no confusion. I had not confused it. If there is any confusion, please do write in the comments. We'll try to clear that. With this, let's move to the another part of our discussion, where we will solve some static topic based questions. Here today's static topic based question is with respect to the power of the president. The legislative powers of the president. So in the legislative powers of the president, there is the concept of the nomination. The president has the power to nominate the members for the Rajya Sabha as well as the Lok Sabha. So this we will understand through this question. As here the question says, with reference to the nomination of members by the President of India to the Houses of the Parliament, consider the following statement. First statement: the President nominates 12 members to the Rajya Sabha for amongst persons having special knowledge or practical experience in respect of such matters as literature, science, art, and social services. 100% correct. President nominates 12 members to the Rajya Sabha. Second statement: the President nominates 2 members to the Lok Sabha from the Anglo-Indian community if they are not adequately represented. 100% correct. But here is a catch. Under 104th Constitutional Amendment Act, under 104th Constitutional Amendment Act, this Anglo-Indian criteria, it was removed. Now they are not nominated, as they are not educated, and they do not adequately represent. Their population is very minimal, so they are not represented. It was revoked. The Anglo-Indian community, the reservation, the nominated members from the Anglo-Indian community, it has been removed through 104th Constitutional Amendment Act. But if it would be brought back, it was the president who will nominate these members. This statement is also correct. Third statement: the power of the president to nominate members to both houses is exercised on the advice of the prime minister. He is not bound by that exercise, but he is not bound. The president is not bound by that advice from the prime minister. He can nominate them on his will, but mostly he would take advice from the prime minister. So this statement becomes incorrect. So with respect to this question, what are the correct statements? Statement 1 and statement 2. So what are the nominating powers of the president? He nominates 12 members in the Rajya Sabha, and he used to nominate 2 members in the Lok Sabha. But now these 2 members which he used to nominate in the Lok Sabha under the Anglo-Indian community has been taken away by the parliament through the 104th Constitutional Amendment Act, because they don't represent that much. Their representation is very much limited in India right now. So with this, I hope you had understood some legislative powers of the president too. Tomorrow we'll learn more about it with respect to different bills, how the president operates with respect to disqualification of parliamentary members. That we'll learn from tomorrow. So with this, let's move to the another part of our discussion, where we will solve a previous year question. Here today's previous year question is from the physical geography. As you know, this was asked in 2011 mostly, And let's see what was the question. The question says a layer in the Earth's atmosphere called ionosphere facilitates radio communication. Why? What is the reason? Here, the ionosphere, we should know that there are ions available. The ions are available as the name suggests. So the first statement, the presence of ozone causes the reflection of the radio waves of the Earth. No, totally incorrect. Ozone is not even present in the ionosphere, so this statement is incorrect. Second statement, radio waves have a very long wavelength. 100% correct. So with respect to this question, the correct statement would be option B only. So option B only is the correct answer for this question. With this, we complete today's discussion. I hope you would have liked the video. I hope you would share it with your friends. I hope you had got the knowledge which is the major intent of this video. You had got the knowledge which we discussed here. With this, I would like to thank you guys for staying with me. Thank you very much and have a nice day.